Hey everybody, Stuart McAdam here, and welcome to today's video, which is Digital Marketing Questions and Answers for 2020. Now, this is a video series that I run as often as possible to answer questions which come in from people around the world with frequently asked marketing questions. And this could be anything from how to start my marketing plan all the way through to something technical like how do I set up the finer details of a Facebook marketing campaign. So without any further ado, let's just jump straight into it and start answering questions that people have been asking around the world. So first question we've got here is, how do you create an online marketing strategy for your new business? Okay, that's a good question. First thing you want to start with is identifying the solution and the problem which you are solving. So the problem that exists and the solution that you're offering, and learn how to communicate that issue or those things. The second thing you want to do is you want to have a look at how whereabouts your target market is spending their time, whether that's Google, whether that's Facebook, LinkedIn, or another marketing platform. Email is another one. And you want to have a look at developing an effective and targeted strategy for that. Once you've done that, you want to start looking at developing out the offer, your package, what your pricing point is going to be, and then you want to go out into the market and test that demand. So that's talking with people who are in your target market, and then finally launching a campaign which is going towards the targeted market based on all of that information. So next question is from Vladimir, and his question is an actual industry standard certificate for marketing digital marketing? No, there's not. There's a whole different range of measurements that you want to have a look at, and it just really depends on what you're trying to get a certification for. Like for some of the more technical web development systems and structures, or some of the sort of Google Analytics certified or Facebook certified partnerships, it might be helpful to have that sort of thing, but ultimately the industry standard is being able to produce results. And if you can produce results better than other people, you're going to get more clients. Next question is from Zachary Guthrie, and he asked, what kind of marketing is the most successful at promoting a small business? Well, there's a couple of different things that seem to work particularly well. First one is if you've got a top-notch SEO expert or consultant that you're working with in your business, that's going to be fantastic for driving organic traffic to your business for certain keywords and search phrases. So, I'll give you a recent example. I took my fiance to Dough Boats in Taupo, which is sort of like an experience where you ride along this little dough-shaped kind of boat, which looks a bit like a hot air balloon along Lake Taupo shores in the lake. And owners were telling me that they're ranking well for sort of very specific keywords, but not phrases like things to do in Taupo. So if you're able to get someone that can help you bridge that gap, then you're going to do really well. The second thing that also works really well too is Facebook and LinkedIn ads. LinkedIn, especially if you've got little to no budget, is a great platform for organic outreach. And if you have got an extra bit of budget available on you as well, look, there's nothing wrong with Google Ads, especially if you are in a very niche market and you don't have a lot of competition. You actually can do quite well for yourself by showing up at the top of a Google search for particular phrases and keywords with a good Google Ads campaign as well. So I'd say focus on those things right there. And then maybe later on, once you've got a reasonably well-established audience and following, look to introduce some of the more technical things like market research, branding, like graphic design and that kind of thing. But initially you want to focus on just the small things first and getting those things right. Next question is from Salah, which is, how can I become a digital marketer without a successful website? Well, you could become a freelancer on Upwork or Fiverr or freelancer.com. You could build a fantastic LinkedIn following. You could have a Facebook page with a really good engagement. You could become a social media marketing influencer across, one platform or a couple of platforms if you've got the north to do that. You could really just brand yourself as an expert in one particular area. Like, for example, if you're an expert in email marketing, and you can prove that you can get good results for people with past clients, then yeah, you can do pretty well for yourself without a successful website. But that said, sort of website work is important, and having a good website is almost the equivalent of having a business card these days, or having your business listed in the yellow pages as they used to do back in the day. It's really the gold standard, or I shouldn't even say the gold standard. It's kind of like the bronze standard, which you need to be online. Like if you haven't got a website and not online, then how exactly are you going to be able to communicate what you can do for people? Next question again is also from Sailor. How can I become a digital marketer with a blog in a month? You can't, not unless your content's completely unique and special and you've optimized it to the utmost. You need at least 3 to 12 months to really establish a prominent, position as a digital marketer with a blog, because Google just doesn't rank things overnight. It does take time. Next question is from Lou DeMaro, and Lou asks, in your opinion, what is the greatest marketing campaign of the last 25 years and what made it so great? Personally speaking, I can remember a couple of ads in different countries that have worked particularly well. One of them was the ad campaign for Tourism Australia, Where the Bloody Hell Are You? And I'm just going to share the Wikipedia link in the comments section here for you guys to see. Now, that was a campaign which, they put about, $180 million into it. And MNC Saatchi put it together. And it's just a series of different Australians, different environments, just talking about what's waiting for them here in Australia. So it's like, we've poured you a beer, we've turned on the lights, we've got the sharks out the pool, we've got the roos off the green, and it's just over and over and over, different scenery. And it really just communicates the beauty and the sort of unique Australian feel, which people who want to visit the country are going to get. Now, they put a lot of money into that, and I can tell you what, it still sticks out in my mind now as one of the most effective ads that I can remember, because it's got a catchy phrase, it's got the human element, it's got, really cool scenery, and it just reminds me of Australia. If I think about Australia, I think of two things. The first one is the Men at Work song, Land Down Under, and just this advertising campaign. So to me, I would say that would be the one that stands out the most. And from an American perspective, from the time I spent there, it was there was one, I think it was the Frosted Flakes ad, which was, Frosted Flakes are more than good, they're great, which they sort of ran really consistently. And they had a song which ran really well, which was like, sort of, we are tigers, mighty, mighty tigers. And I still remember that ad right now, because it just had the sort of like the song to it, and then it went to Tony the Tiger, they're great. So those two stand out really prominently. And the reason they stand out so well is just because they're indented into my mind. Next question is from SR Rafat, can I find digital marketing work in Quora? You probably can, but you're better to look at places like Fiverr or Upwork or Freelancer or just the job boards that are within your local area. Next question is from Vanessa, and she asks, what is the meaning of prime prospect and core consumers in marketing? So prime prospect, essentially is someone that's just really like a really targeted person that you're going after, like, someone who in an ideal scenario that you really want to attract. Core consumers is someone that you've already got who's using your product. So the difference is one is potential, one is confirmed, as a consumer or customer. Next question is social media marketing taught in universities? Yes, it's getting taught more and more now, both as papers within a degree, and it probably won't be long now before they start introducing it like across the board as an entire degree, like completely. I can see that happening very, very quickly, and it will happen before you know it. And I'll just share an example there of one. Here we go. Here, students who pursue a degree. So this has just got like sort of, Bachelor of Online Web Marketing and Social Media Management, and that's from Ionics University. It's just looks like a part-time one, French university. Cabrini University in Radnor, USA. It's got a digital communication and social media degree. So it looks like at the moment it's still probably not as prominent yet and not as ingrained into society or the sort of academia field as it needs to be for a following to be developed and produced. But I can certainly see it happening, being rolled out a lot more. Next question is from John Farmer. How do you use Quora for marketing? Well, I just use it as an opportunity to share the knowledge that I have with people and sort of like broad-based marketing questions. I try to avoid going into too much depth on Quora, mainly because a lot of the information that I could possibly share there has already been shared by other people in other areas. And secondly, it can be a very time-consuming thing. But from a branding perspective, it's fantastic, and I do get quite a few website visitors from coming through from Quora every single month. Next question is from Nushka Bhatt. How can I market my tutoring agency on social media for free? That's very simple. Go and start joining Facebook groups. Go onto LinkedIn and start connecting with people that you want to target, whether that's parents or whether that's university students or young people, whoever it is. Just reach out to them, connect with them, and communicate in plain English what products and services exactly that you're offering. So next question is from Andrew, and Andrew asks, how do I use Facebook lead generation ads to great effect? Whoa, that is actually a very good question, because I actually just did a video earlier on today about that. I'm just going to share the link with you there, Andrew. That's a fantastic question. Yeah, Facebook lead generation, essentially what you need to do is you need to find a way to communicate the benefits of your product or service in a very small, short period of time. Now, the way in which you could do that, I just recommend having 3 audiences, 3 content angles, and 3 different types of creatives. So have like maybe a video ad, a carousel ad, and a single image ad, and see which one works best and gets the most conversions. And just only collect the information that is absolutely essential for you to move through to the next stage. Next question is from Amelia, and Amelia asks, what does Amelia ask? How can I learn Facebook marketing? Well, Amelia, the best place you can start is obviously you can go onto, I would say just go and visit my channel. I've actually got a video which I've put together which covers Facebook marketing funnels for beginners, and that'll give you a pretty good broad overview. And I would just say reach out to some of the marketing specialists out there and actually just see what sort of content they've got available at the moment as freebies, you know, sort of how to set up your Facebook account, how to get started with Facebook ads, and use as much of the free information available to you as you can possibly get a hold of before you reach out to some of the specialists, because, you know, the really good ones are charging anywhere from, you know, $50 to $500 an hour. So you want to make sure that you've got, when you do go to a Facebook specialist, you've got as much information as you can possibly have absorbed from the freebies, and then move on to speaking to the specialists. Kay asks, is Facebook marketing effective as a strategy? Yes. Yes, it is. It's effective because, you know, if you are using it in the way it's intended to be used, then you're going to experience a good level of success because you're targeting correctly, the people that you're reaching is right, you're able to really get a good foothold into the marketplace, which is Facebook, which is, you know, sort of more than 2 billion users. But you've got to make sure you've got a couple of things set up. You've got to make sure your initial conditions are right, that you know exactly who your target market is, that you can reach them, you can communicate the solution that you're providing, or the freebie that you're giving away, which addresses a big pain point in somebody's mind. And you also want to make sure that the person is going to want to engage. You can't force them to say yes, but you can make it very hard for them to say no. So yes, it is very effective as a strategy if you get the initial conditions set up right. If you don't do that, get the initial conditions set up right, yeah, you're going to struggle on Facebook. So just make sure you take a little bit more time, even if it's an extra, you know, couple of days or even a week, to get things right. Because if you get it wrong, I can guarantee you, your campaign will be sinking faster than the Titanic. You'll be losing a lot of money, and no one's going to, you know, if people aren't responding to your ad, then, you know, it's less likely to show up. So it's kind of like the spiral effect. Yeah, so I'm going to go into the next question, and that is from, this is from Gary. Gary asks, what is the best Facebook marketing group on Facebook? Well, that's a very tough question to answer, because you need to identify what group you're in or what sort of industry you're in, and then go and find those channels and platforms that are there. Because otherwise, there's no point. You know, there's no point actually even, you know, sort of sharing, sort of asking that kind of question if you're not sort of prepared to share what sort of industry you're in, because the best groups are actually those with the highest level of engagement. So if you've got 100 people and all of them are answering your questions and engaging and sort of providing feedback now in real time and very responsive, then you're going to do reasonably well for yourself. Whereas if you go to a group where there's like 100,000 members, then, and only like less than 1% of them are even seeing those things, then yeah, you might run into a couple of problems. So next question is from Sean. And Sean asks, which email marketing service is the best? Well, good question. It depends on what your goals are with the email marketing and how many emails that you have. If you're somebody who has like 100,000 emails, and you're just sort of looking to send out as many emails as possible every single day or week or month, look at a platform like SendGrid. If you're looking for something that's simple and user-friendly and kind of has most of the things that you need in one place, I'd recommend having a look at MailChimp and Klaviyo. They're quite easy to use, very user-friendly. They've got fantastic tutorials available on YouTube, on their website itself. So they're definitely platforms. Those three platforms just right there are super helpful. And if you're also looking maybe sort of beyond that, go have a look at a platform like MailerLite. And if you can handle the slight complexity to it, Active Campaign's not a bad option either. Okay, so next question is, what are some great pieces of advice for running a digital marketing agency? Good question. First thing I would say is identify what areas you specialize in. Identify what solutions you provide to common problems in the marketplace. Set key deliverables and objectives. Make sure that your digital marketing solutions are effective and measurable. Hold yourself accountable and to the highest standards. Treat your clients' advertising spend as if it's your own money. And really just don't try and fudge anything. Like don't add extra minutes to time log. Be 100% honest with how you're measuring and tracking your time. Even if you put more than 5 minutes on and you shouldn't have, like that adds up over time, and that can create some mistrust problems. So make sure you track your time accurately. And if you've got somebody working with you, just make sure they are given the opportunity and the space to learn and do what they do best. Don't micromanage. Next question is, why do marketers often have difficulty with social media marketing? I think I answered that one just before, and that's the initial parameters aren't set up properly. So they're trying to target the wrong people. They're targeting way too broadly, or they're being way too narrow. Their message doesn't resonate with the people that they're targeting either. And very often their creatives aren't the best. It really just comes down to that as well. You can't push yourself. You can't sort of go poof and push yourself into someone's direction. You need to bring them along on the journey with you. You can't just push them like push yourself into their face. It's very off-putting. So yeah, I'd say just sort of look at those things. Next question: why is it important to supplement digital marketing with direct marketing? Well, because you've got to get the sale eventually. There are so many people who will give you hordes and hordes and hordes and hordes of free marketing tips and advice and tricks. At some stage, though, if you want to have a successful digital marketing agency, you've got to make the sale. You've got to present people with an offer. And the only way you're going to effectively do that is if you provide direct marketing or do some direct marketing tactics. Next question is, how can I start a business today and get many customers? Well, identify the business field that you want to be in. Have a look at why you want to be in that industry. Sort of really talk about the solution that you want to solve. Have a look at the people who you're trying to help. Look at their common pain points and how you could possibly help them. Look at how much marketing budget you have available and try to maximize the spend if you are marketing on a tight budget. And if you have a bit more marketing budget available, then by all means have a look at how you can sort of do as much market research as possible, so you've got a message that really resonates and connects with people. I'm just going to share in the comment section right now a video that I did a while ago, which was marketing on a tight budget. So if you are just getting started out, that could be something that's very helpful in giving you some, performance tips to really maximize your marketing spend. And with that, we'll go on to the next question. What kinds of businesses are you thinking would really benefit from online or digital marketing? Well, that's almost any business you could care to think of. I would say one that's still very underutilized at the moment would be coffee shops and takeaway restaurants. If COVID-19 and the lockdowns, which have been enforced around the world, have taught us everything, it's that a lot of businesses were underprepared and didn't have a proper and established online presence that really should have been there long before something like this ever came up. So I would say those are two industries that really would benefit from it. What would that look like? It would be something as simple as ordering a takeaway coffee and picking, selecting a pickup time. Like if it costs $5 for you to order a coffee and you pay for it and you go pick it up at a certain time, then perfect. Likewise as well with the takeaways, you can establish something like that where a lot of the ordering is done online and then you just need to go and pick it up. Companies like Burger Fuel and other fast food restaurants have been doing that very successfully for a while now. And as soon as level 3 came back and they could open up again, you found that they tended to do quite well for themselves. Next question is, what are 6 brand trends to improve your digital marketing strategies? I wouldn't really call them trends, but I would say the biggest ones are more effective targeting, more consistent and higher value content output, and promoting posts that really resonate well with people. Okay, next question is, how do you carry out market research without creating competition for your new business? Well, the second part is impossible because unless you've got a completely new novel idea that hasn't been put out into the marketplace yet, you're going to be competing with people and you just have to accept that reality. So the biggest thing I would say there is you want to, excuse me, you just want to go and get in touch with people who you are wanting to provide services to. So if you're wanting to reach software companies, accounting practices, medical firms, go and speak to the right people in those different businesses and get an understanding of what their common pain points and gain points are for particular things, and make sure that you're kind of just keeping it on the download. You don't have to tell them what you're planning to do. Just say you're looking to see if there's an opportunity for it and just go from there. Don't register your business. Don't set up a website. Don't write any content yet. Just get an understanding of who your target customer is, what their pain points and gain points are, and then just have a look at how effective it is. Next thing you want to go and do as well is you just want to write that all out, and you want to start identifying the biggest opportunity areas and the most high value areas you can operate within. And, look, eventually when you do launch your business, you're going to have competition, but if you're doing a good job, it's going to stand out. You've got to look good. The market is not too saturated. The market actually has a lot of underperforming companies and a lot of underperforming agencies and businesses that have been going for many years now. Next question is, how should the fact that jobs are not secure as they were previously influence the importance of preparing for a career? It kind of just confirms, if anything, that the dynamic of the 9-to-5 job is probably coming to an end right now as we know it, and that a lot of companies are going to start looking to bring people in more on a freelance and contract as needed basis, rather than setting up full-time, highly sort of long-term focused careers. And I've personally seen that with like my line of business as well. There were a lot of people on my LinkedIn profile that lost their jobs in marketing due to COVID-19, and a lot of the cutbacks which needed to be made. But that also presented a lot of great opportunities for marketing experts like me, who can come in and do certain tasks within social media marketing, content, email, and really address the problems which like people do have. So I would say go for that, and see how effective you find it. Become a freelancer, start your own marketing agency, and even if it's just as a side project, it's a great way to have some extra income at the end of every week and month and year. Next question is career change from marketing to what? Look at recruitment, because the thing that businesses struggle with the most is finding good people to work in their companies. If you can address that problem for people, then my word, you're going to experience a huge level of demand for your services. And it's something that many people right now are looking for quite extensively, is people that are good talent agents and recruitment managers, because a lot of the time there's far too many people out there who are just kind of box tickers, and they always like if companies hire recruitment managers that are just box tickers, then you're going to get employees that are never going to be truly spectacular a lot of the time. And I've had that experience myself with some people, and look, it's just one of those things you kind of have to work through. So next question is, what would it take to open an advertising agency in Australia? I'm not based in Australia. I'm actually in Tutoring in New Zealand, so unfortunately can't answer that question. Question from Erica: how do I develop a business in New Zealand? What are the steps to build a business there? Well, that's a great question, Erica. Best way to do that is to hop on LinkedIn and start connecting with people that are business owners. Have a look at connecting with as many as possible. I'd recommend sort of 20 to 30 a day, and do that for a whole year, and keep on connecting with people. Try different messaging out, types of messages out as the welcome notes, and then just see where people have the most problems and look to move in that direction. Okay, I'll do 2 more questions, because the video, we're up to 34 minutes now, and I have got other things to get on with today. So How do I learn digital marketing? Can anybody give me a link or something that could help me? That's a really good question. Best way to learn digital marketing is to first identify what area of digital marketing you want to specialize in. And once you've chosen to specialize in a certain area, look to specialize within the specialized area. So, for example, if you want to specialize in social media marketing, choose a platform to be the best in, whether that's Twitter or LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube or Snapchat or Instagram or TikTok. Whatever it is, go and find a place where you can specialize in, very well, and learn as much as you can in that area. Something else you can do to learn digital marketing is go and find a digital marketing course. Udemy and many other education platforms have got some great resources and tools available on that. And you can also visit my website as well. I've got a blog section where I do provide some tips for people that are wanting to join on how they can educate themselves about different types of digital marketing, which is all pretty useful. And like, I update that as often as I can. I've been a bit slack recently just because I've been so flat out. And the best thing you can do there is do as well is just type in digital marketing for beginners onto Google and onto YouTube and just watch a couple of those videos as well. My YouTube channel's actually, sort of completely dedicated towards people like yourself who are looking to upskill yourself there. So just do visit my blog and see some of the things there. And YouTube channel, sorry. So final question is from, where are we? How good is a career in digital marketing? Well, it's as good or as bad as what you make it. You've got to be very hardworking. You've got to be very enterprising. And especially if you're doing what I do, which is freelance work, you've got to be prepared to work some very long and intense hours to get it right and to be the best. I can give you 2 examples right here. I have one client who I'm currently helping fix his Facebook page in terms of responding to people. I'm going to most likely exceed the hours that have been allocated to me paid-wise, but we're going to get through every single person and respond to everyone. And the reason we're going to do that is because it's very important, and there could be extra earning opportunity for the client to get to the next level of where he wants to be income-wise, and also create a loyal and dedicated, following of people. After that, aside from that, it's very enjoyable and it's very rewarding, and especially when you're able to help people, become the best business that they can be. It's very satisfying, being a digital marketer and working to create a better future for that business and also for yourself as well, because it's a very tough environment out there and the marketing field is changing all the time. And in order for you to be an effective marketer, you need to learn how to adapt with the times, so to speak. You need to be relevant. You need to be providing content and services which are up to date and relevant. And if you're not learning about the new changes with the platform, then you're not actually just sort of on a level playing field. It's actually sort of like this. So you're slowly sliding backwards if you're just staying still. Whereas if you are just doing sort of like bare amount of work, you're kind of like leveling it out. And if you're going, putting in a lot of work, then it starts to sort of angle upwards as well. So, the sort of key things there are just really making sure that you've got, they've got this ability to, work as hard as possible to make it a reality. So I'm actually just going to answer one more question as well, just as a sort of little bonus because it's something that a lot of you have taken the time to sort of ask me questions. So it's worth putting in some extra effort to make sure that you helped. And that is the final question. Where are we? How do we earn money by digital marketing? If you're talking about providing services for people, it's just going and finding the right client who you can provide solutions for to their problems. So I'm going to leave it at that, guys. Thanks very much for tuning in today. We went through quite a few questions again. As always, if you found this video useful, please subscribe to my channel. Update it as frequently as possible. Got new videos coming out quite regularly at the moment. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Thank you.